Recorded live from a previously unfinished attic in downtown Monroe, this is Drawing Bigger Circles, where we dig into what's going on behind the scenes and out in the streets of our city, Monroe, North Carolina. My name is Stephen Stegall. I'm the chair of Personal for Change from Monroe. We're a grassroots organization that seeks to connect neighbors to neighbors through political engagement, civic education, and a myriad of community service opportunities. And as always, I'm joined by my favorite rebel and loner, Kevin Daniels. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah. So just a warning, Kevin.
Oh,
There are going to be things in this podcast that you wouldn't understand, you shouldn't understand, and you couldn't understand.
I don't understand.
Exactly. So all this Pee-wee referencing, it's going to be a little bit of a theme today because we had Dottie Nash finally join us back again. Oh, where's the applause button? Wait, new tech, guys. What? Are we finally getting our shit together, Kevin?
Well, kind of, because I think you can actually do like standing ovation while you do that too with volume, but we'll figure that out another day.
We'll clean it up in post.
Yeah.
In post.
In post.
Yes, that's what the real people say. The real podcasters say. So how's it going, man?
It's going very well.
Yeah.
I have very few complaints today. I mean,
complain.
had to boil water for a few hours this
Right.
week.
What the farts, man?
You know, it happens.
Yeah. I mean, did our mayor just like take a big dump in the fucking municipal water source or what?
Might be the pre-workout, the protein diet. There's a chance. We're not going to speculate.
So he's shitting on the city and then shitting in our
in our
our
water.
water supply too.
Get
Yeah.
us from both angles.
So what actually did happen? Was it just like some construction going on and somebody found it out? Do you know anything about that?
No, I really don't, so I'd rather not speculate. I can only
Right.
say what was put out on Facebook 48 hours after the
Right.
contamination was found,
Yeah.
which I think we talk about with Dottie here coming up.
A little, yeah. So, but he didn't really take the time to like inform his citizens, but he was damn sure like talking shit about Gavin Newsom and Josh Stein over Twitter. So he found time to do that.
It's part of his transparency campaign.
Right. Yeah,
as long as it has nothing to do with Monroe, he's all over it. Like,
right.
I don't know, fart on stink.
Right. Well, it just becomes pretty obvious that.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yes.
He's all over it, like E. coli all over our water.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Sometimes
Perfect.
it takes a second.
Yeah, we got it though. We come around to it. Another Pee-wee themed topic we want to talk about is the fact that they're like playing Big Adventure, Pee-wee's Big Adventure at the Dowd this week. And
just for the record, for those of us of a certain age, a lot of jokes back in the day.
yeah,
He had a thing. I don't know what else you do in that kind of theater. So it really just, but I think we were teenagers at the time. So it was definitely
maybe.
a
I
bigger
don't
deal.
know about anybody else watching, but like, like Pee-wee was like, he was just iconic growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, he really was. I mean, that character for Paul Rubens just like made him a just huge star. What a lot of people don't realize about that character, though, is that there was an old college troupe of his, comedy troupe that he performed with, and Pee-wee was like a revision of like this drag show that he used to put on.
Mm.
And this, I'm not spoiling anything for any people who want to know about this, but Paul Rubens came out later, posthumously, actually, in a documentary that's coming out soon. But he was a gay man.
Yes.
And, and during, like I say, during his college days, and I think a little bit after, performed with his college troupe. They did a lot of like, kind of risque comedy and things like that. But Pee-wee itself was just kind of, like I say, it wasn't necessarily him. Ultimately, it was him in drag. Because this was a character that he just kind of accumulated all this this material from, and just all kind of derived it into Pee-wee, and then Pee-wee just became this huge star. So back in the day, we had drag queens entertaining us as children, and we didn't even know it.
I'm also going to say that I think this podcast has now set the record for number of times one man has said Pee-wee.
Is that right? Well, let's see if we can break that in the upcoming the episodes that we've got coming up in the future. So you've given me something to shoot for.
I don't understand.
Exactly. So the conversation that we had with Dottie was basically we were we've talked about this before, but we had a really good conversation with Dottie.
I swear to God.
We lost it.
I'm sorry.
I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm not pointing any fingers here, but it just wasn't like, so our equipment just wasn't up to snuff at the time. And, because of technology, which I will continuously shake my fist at, even as we're really trying to like figuring it out and moving forward, sometimes it just doesn't work great.
Our equipment is fantastic. Everything that we have is middle of the line. It's great stuff. But the problem is I was trying to learn it and I have no natural ability to understand any of this. Steven has spent the last like 48 hours sending me nonstop texts about like, oh, and we can do this and we can do this. And I'm like, what?
Well, I don't like any of those ideas, sir.
Like, I just want my voice to sound different.
Right. So we're trying on a budget. We're trying to like, put together, just the equipment that we need to like really put out as best a product as we possibly can for you guys, in the hopes that you'll keep coming back. Maybe, I don't know.
Like, we want you to turn it off because you're disgusted by the material, not the sound of our voices.
Right. Yeah. Well, we both already hate the sound of our voices enough. We don't want you to do the same.
So us and the rest of the world.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we had this new conversation with Dottie, and it was all, it was kind of long ranging, to be honest. It was, we talked about her tenure as a city council member. She was, and I'll say this at some point too, but it was like 2003 to I think 2015-ish. And so she's got, a lot of relevant experience, dealing with, what it takes to kind of like run a, semi-small cities, like the city of our size, and just has a lot of like, relevant experience to like kind of speak on. And
our first conversation with Dottie that got fucked up was we were talking about HB3 because that had just happened, and we needed insight and help on that. And obviously we found out a lot more stuff since then about it, but we still needed her to break down why it was relevant, why the mayor's action or lack thereof, that's still up for debate on how much he pushed that issue. But we needed her to just inform us and educate us on how the city works and how people can help, just being lowly citizens at the mercy of the mayor.
And the no confidence vote that happened as a result of all that. I mean, obviously, the no confidence vote was like a culmination of a lot of his just less desirable features as a mayor.
Which he has many.
Yeah, but I think that the one that really kind of pushed the rest of the council over the edge was really the way that the HB3 was handled, and his, like you say, his lack of transparency, which he touts himself as on the issue. I mean, he was supposedly on vacation or maybe some kind of family function in Florida when all this was going down, but he still had time to tweet about conspiracy theories and bullshit on the very same day that everybody was finding out about HB3 was the assassination that happened in Minnesota. And he immediately talked about how the assassin was just like, oh, lunatic left-wing man, and please come over to Republicans because Democrats are crazy. And,
which was debunked
immediately.
within hours.
But he doesn't give a shit about that because immediately they put out the that statement about this the mindset of this just horrible fucking person who carried out this complete travesty. And the mayor's attitude towards that is, let me try to score some fucking political points on the death of representatives in Minnesota. Fucking prick.
I don't think we have words strong enough to talk about what a deplorable human being he is.
Yeah, and that's a
human being. Not even, I mean, he's a shit mayor. But he's just a fucking horrible person.
Just a bad person too, all around. So, but anyway, without further delay, I think we'll go ahead and get into the. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I was going to talk about the Pee Wee thing at the Dowd. So apparently, the Pee Wee's Big Adventure got through the censors or the censors. Of the Dowd, where they don't want to like play any I guess like subversive content, stuff that like might I guess like lead our children astray. But obviously Pee Wee being who he was at the time, I mean, it was kind of low key about what he was really doing at the time. But like, it is true that Pee Wee Herman is a drag character, and now they have drag basically playing
at the doubt again.
But these people are so fucking stupid that they don't see what's going on. So anyway, my overall critique of what happened with the Hello Daddy thing, where they were all out there like protesting in the fucking rain. Thank you, God, for for providing that rain.
It's amazing that wasn't a sign to anyone out there on the sidewalk.
Right? Yeah, that they were going against nature and everything that good in the world. But yeah, so they have allowed drag back into, and this is on their watch now. They've allowed drag back into the Dowd. So shame on you people. Yeah. So
not
anyway.
for that, just for everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just shame
plenty
on
of plenty
you.
of things that you should feel shame for, but you're obviously incapable of anyway.
Of that, yeah.
So anyway, without further ado, again, let's get to that interview that we have with Dottie.
All right. Roll the tape.
And we have with us Dottie Nash. How you doing today, Dottie?
I'm doing great.
Great. So for everyone who doesn't know Dottie Nash, I mean the very few people out there who doesn't know Dottie Nash, right? Dottie actually sat on the city council from 2003 to 2015. Is that right?
That's right.
Right. Okay. Great. And and it sounds like you knocked off a pretty popular incumbent when you were doing that. You care to talk about that a little bit?
Well, when I ran the first time, they never expected me to win. And I beat Phil Hargan. And Phil Hargan's a good guy, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, of course.
But I beat him by like 22 votes.
22
and I'll never
whole
forget,
votes.
the mayor at the time was Judy Davis. She's like, can we do a recount? Or, are we going to have a runoff? Because you had to have a certain percentage at that time.
Yeah.
And I hit the percentage, so she had to deal with me. And I had been sort of a thorn in their side anyway, because they were trying to develop some more townhomes over there where I managed apartments. And it was already bad.
Right.
It had already started, had started changing we were having a lot of problems on one end of the street, and she didn't like that fact that she had to deal with me.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like, this whole development issue we've been, kind of dealing with for quite a long time now. And I mean, but, such is the fate of a growing city. I mean, and like, I think I would rather have the problems of dealing with growth than stagnation or, people wanting to leave for different reasons.
Well, Monroe didn't grow for so long, but now it's growing too much.
Yeah.
There's been too much approval of developments.
Yep.
Because you can't keep up with the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the roads really are not, most of those are not the city of Monroe. They're the state's. Your main arteries into the city are the state, maintained.
Mm-hmm.
The city does maintain some things for the state, but, they're starting to put more money with the Powell bill, which has helped pays our streets. But development is not necessarily the best because there's too much. In fact, I had a conversation the other day with one of the planners about what is the rental of the city now. Back when I was on council, it was a good 50-55%, which is not really healthy for a city. And a lot of these new developments, like townhomes, are turning around being rented. You go on Zillow or one of those websites, and you'll see they're leasing these townhomes. They're not for sale.
Yeah.
And we've got the same situation going on in my neighborhood that we went and asked council to put a stop to because it got slid in, as so many things do.
Yeah.
And you start looking at the connections, and it's like, this doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah.
And so, we know about this.
So last time we spoke, we actually, I think we've mentioned it at a couple podcasts before, Kevin, that we lost the recording with Dottie.
Apologies have been made.
Yeah. So, but just the context within that recording was that we had just had a major no confidence vote for our sitting mayor Robert Burns.
Mayor Whiny Britches.
Yeah. So Dottie, to the best of your recollection, can you walk us through? Oh, well, I guess let's just talk about what a no confidence vote is.
Well, basically, it's just the council making a stand that says we have no confidence in you, and it's because of all the things that led up to it. I mean, there's been numerous issues with him. I know that they've talked to him about some of them. Like, it's almost like he is representing the city as a mayor, but when he's putting stuff out on a Facebook page that says Mayor of Monroe, it's like the city of Monroe is endorsing what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, any reasonable person would consider that a statement.
And I know that after this no confidence vote, he went back and did his own page.
Yes.
And
I think it's still called Mayor Burns.
he still no.
Well, he
Robert
has-
Burns, Mayor of Monroe.
Yes, but it says these are my own views, and he has a business page now,
Right.
and it's still misleading.
Of course.
And he's made it a very political page, which I mean that's his right if he wants to be political on his personal page. But my understanding, if you do anything business wise, you can request information on it.
Sure.
But it still makes it look like a lot of it's the city.
Well, let's be clear about what this is actually too. I mean, these Facebook pages, when you talk about him being political, obviously he's a mayor, so everything that he posts is going to be political in some way or another. But what he's doing, this is, this is more or less like the phrase. This always
He's like
hits
an
me.
overgrown toddler.
Well, yeah, I was going to say more or less. He's just like of course he's like campaigning for people and things like that. So I mean, he's basically just throwing red meat to people all the time. I mean, this is what is the phrase that I'm trying to think of?
I don't know. You're already lost. But I think
am.
the issue that is he's not professional. He lies. And that's why we don't like when he says, I am mayor of Monroe. Here's some bullshit that I'm going to feed you.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, on the no confidence, when you have 5 council members, they're saying, we don't like what you're doing. We don't like that you're saying, pretty much you're the face of Monroe. And you're misleading people because you're making all these comments and stances that are not the official City of Monroe stance.
And I'd like to point out, though, 5 council members from both sides of the aisle.
Both sides of the aisle. Now, he got out there on his own page and was plastering them, calling them rhinos. I mean, it was like he was pitching a temper tantrum.
We've met him.
It went on for over 2 weeks. It was very ugly. And you didn't see them on their pages, and they've been attacked quite a bit.
Yeah.
Saluda Anthony has been called a liberal. Saluda has served the community for a long time. But it just went to the extreme. And he's out there saying we're going to run. We need people to come in qualified to run the city like I want it ran. This city is a diverse city. We have all kinds of people in this city. You represent everybody, not just one party. Everybody. I don't care who they are.
I found when I ran for county commissioner years ago as a favor, and someone came up to me because one of the issues around here is the development, and people are like, hey, and a woman came up, she's like, do you want to put a moratorium on developments and building? And I said, no. If you put the right people in charge, then those decisions are no longer based on favors and money. They're based on information and intel. So when the mayor comes in, he says, I want people to run the city just like I want to run it. He's admitting right off the bat that he is going to disregard the opinions of the people who live here and the experts who are informed on all these issues.
Well, he's clearly showed that. I
Yeah.
mean, they have talked to him about some of the posts he's made. This is ongoing. This has not just been all of a sudden. This was ongoing, like, look, can you tone it down, or this is not appropriate for all the citizens. You represent everybody. And he'd say, oh, okay. And then he'd go and do what he wanted.
Yeah. Pretty much right out of the gate, too. Like the day
Yes.
after he got elected, he started with his bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it's again, like, it's just signaling to his base.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is,
But he shouldn't have a base. He should serve all the citizens, period.
No, well, I agree, and this is part of like the conversation I think we were having before we recorded. Like the main, I guess, goal of Burns at this point is to change the face of what Monroe politics is.
Right.
And so when you say that he shouldn't be signaling to his base, he completely disagrees. And
Yes.
mainly because like he is trying to bring national politics, or I guess maybe just reshape Monroe politics in the form of national politics, and so he can concentrate on these hot button issues that have nothing to do with Monroe politics, but it signals to his people that this is the type of person he is. This is the whole reason that they wanted to push for partisan elections in the first place, because they really feel that putting an R beside your name tells the voter a certain bit of information about you, but they also they rebut their own assertion when they call other people rhinos. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing. So
if you don't think
it's
exactly like
self-serving.
them,
Yeah.
you're a rhino.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and I know there's terms
Yeah.
for Democrats, they're blue dogs or
We're dinos.
Yeah.
They're
okay.
dinos.
Well,
No, but you're right. Yeah.
they have different names, and
Yeah.
that you got to vote straight party. Well,
Yeah.
see, I don't agree with that. I just don't. I mean, I'm not that way.
Especially at the local level.
The local level is
Yeah.
completely different than the county, the state, or the federal level. Local level, when you see these citizens in the store or walking or wherever you see your citizens, it's about my garbage didn't get picked up. I got a
Right.
pothole.
Yeah.
The limbs need picking up. It's things like that.
But those aren't
My
sexy issues to
My power bill
somebody
is
who's
too high.
Yeah.
Or they're going to cut off my power because your policy says this.
Yeah.
The local officials set your policy on how much your rate is going to be for your power.
Yeah.
And now some of that comes from, they buy power also. So some of that is set at a little bit higher level. But we got to extend our water lines to this far. Or, we've got to build a new sewer plant. And that's what local people do. It's not like the national and the national level, or even the state level, or the county.
Right.
We don't fund schools, so that's something different too. But it's like, they're going to need a new sewer plant. The land's already been purchased for the expansion of the sewer.
Yeah.
Because they did that when I was on council. The city is a full service city. What people don't always understand is that your police, fire, your parks and rec, the police and fire take up about 55% of your budget.
Yeah.
That's where most
Jeez.
of your tax dollars go.
Yeah.
Because there's different funds. The general fund, it comes from your tax dollars and from sales tax. The airport, the aquatic center is self-funded.
Mm-hmm.
So they have what they call enterprise funds. When you do something economic development, you can borrow from some of those funds. But as far as the government, the general fund, you cannot go take money from those funds.
Right.
You can't. You can only use those funds like for economic development, like the electrical fund. That builds up so that it can replace poles, transformers. That's in an enterprise fund by itself.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand those are separate funds.
Mm-hmm.
Tourism dollars. That's how the science center was done, because when you first do a tourism, so much can go. At some point you have to flip and be able and spend money and invest money. So you have to, like the science center, you had to build something, or it flips with what you can do with the money. And I don't remember the exact breakdown of it. But people are like, well, those are my tax dollars. Tourism money is your tax dollars that you pay for a hotel or restaurants. That's where that money comes from. It's a tourism tax, and people that come through Monroe pay that also. But that's anywhere you go.
Yeah. Well, considering, we obviously have a bit of a divide within our city council right now, and for all intents and purposes, like right now, the city council basically votes in a 5-2, pretty regularly, and we can imagine it's Burns and the former mayor pro tem Dotson that are usually the two. Everybody else is.
I like former.
I love that. Yeah. We can maybe go into
Yeah, when he stood up that night and turned his sign around, it's like, oh my gosh.
child.
It was childish, but
Yeah.
I don't think he understood how excited we all got seeing that. Like
Yeah,
he thought he was making a statement.
Well, no, he was. Yeah, he was.
But
he was. Yeah. So what does so with that being in place, that 5-2 split that we have right now, what do these numbers really tell us about the dynamics that are happening behind the scenes, you think?
Well, you're going to see a lot of votes are going to be straight 7-0.
Yeah.
Because they're basic votes.
Yeah.
Sometimes controversial. You will see the 5-2, and you may even see a 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
But those are things that are a little more. They're not your basic public hearing or your basic policy, amendments. Those are how those votes will go. Resolutions. You will probably see 7-0 on a lot of those, because those are just what I call basic votes. This is an amendment to change our parking. most people are going to be in favor of it because the staff has researched it. So therefore it's what I call a basic vote. Some of your more controversials may be your developments.
Right.
And I thought it was real interesting that Mayor Burns put out there that they hadn't voted for any developments. But when we stood before him that night, he knew what was going to happen to our neighborhood. We pointed out what the UDO said, which is the Unified Development Ordinance, and the fact that they slid this rezoning in when they did the update. And they went from a low density to a medium density, which is a lot higher density than the whole surrounding neighborhoods, all of them.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't stand up for us.
So
and he was actually supposed to come over there and walk it with me, and he backed out.
Oh, did he really? Right.
He ran out of town.
Oh.
Out of time.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. But so thinking about his statement there that he didn't vote for any new development. So this development was actually passed or
it was done
approved?
as a by right.
So, but was he in office when it happened?
No, but
so that's how he can say.
That's how he can say
He didn't
but
vote for it or wasn't involved in
It's
it.
the vocabulary.
We had a
game.
neighborhood there that stood before him and gave all of our points as why this should not have been rezoned that way.
Yeah.
Because what happened is they came in there and changed this one parcel that it was 25 acres between all these neighborhoods
Right.
that were R20, and they changed it to low medium density, low density, and they have a term for it. But then this one section in the middle was changed to residential medium density.
Right.
And so it more than doubled what was on our street. And because we were like one house per half acre, these are 3 per acre. So but we stood up and gave all of our reasonings, and we pointed out where it said that this should have been a cluster development.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that we were against the development; we were against the amount of development.
Well, and two, the way that they were,
But they
the
rezoned
entrance
it.
to the road and things like that.
Oh,
That was
yes,
another
it
big
was the roads
sticking point, right?
And come to find out now, they have been suspended for their turn lane off of Lancaster Avenue because when they did their engineering thing to engineered packet or whatever you want to call it, to turn off Lancaster into our street, they were on somebody's property.
Oh, right.
So now
okay.
they've been suspended. So they either have to see how they can make it work or go down to another entrance, which is what we asked for to start with.
So they're planning at this point to have a turning lane into a residential neighborhood that then turns into their complex,
Which increases
instead of just turning from Lancaster Highway
into their complex. But it increases the traffic on our street almost 600 cars a day.
Yeah, right.
And we are a dead end street, a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. I used to ride my bike on that street all the time, by the way. So I was like,
but it was real interesting. This
That
property,
was just last week.
This property sat on the county books for over 20 years.
Right.
And when the person bought it, they paid $30,000 more for it than 20 years ago.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And all you got to do is start watching the connections.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back.
But what I was saying is, he never stood up for us that night. They go into closed session. I'm sure they're warned by the city attorney that this developer will sue you. Instead of standing up for doing what was right for their neighborhood, and what the UDO clearly says is we are to protect established neighborhoods.
Right.
Yeah, and the only one that stood up for us.
And the UDO is what again?
Yeah, the Unified Development Ordinance.
There you
It was
go.
adopted in 2022.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And their excuse was, well, they went in there and changed a lot of the zoning because they had too much of that R20. So they went in there and just changed it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I guess. I mean, there's no rationale to why. And,
I'm sure there was.
Well, yeah. But they had all these public meetings. Well, I knew a little bit about the zoning because I chaired the Land Development Committee when I was on council.
Right.
And it's like, I thought they were just updating the codes.
Sure.
I'm going to come to find out they increased the density and they made it by right. So this person didn't even have to go before council or the planning board or anybody.
Right.
I'm looking at our questions from last time, and honestly, they have become irrelevant in many cases because one of the questions, for example, was, do you think that the no confidence vote will change the mayor's attitude and behavior?
And I think I said right then it would not.
Yeah.
And that he became more self-righteous.
He really did.
Indignant and all
he
that,
became, it's all about they've done this to him. They're corrupt pretty much, It's like
Speaking
he
of
wouldn't
corrupt-
take any responsibility for his own actions.
Speaking of corrupt, I don't know if y'all saw, but they're rehashing the Mark Robinson charity
Oh yes, I saw that.
issue that came up. Basically, they are now sending it to debt collections because they embezzled $101,000, and they're supposed to pay that back to the state for, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, do you think the mayor scrubbed his socials yet?
Oh no!
Oh no! I got all these pictures of
I was
him.
going to say, and even if he does, the internet does not forget. So
Well, no, it was just like, was there some attitude of realization, like, oh, maybe I should not have all these pictures supporting
I don't think so.
this horrible person?
I don't think.
And so I went back, and he did not take a single one down, and he's not posted about it, of course. But he did not.
Well,
usually you scrub your socials after something like that.
Well, I don't know. It's almost like they're blind spots that they don't see this stuff. And one of the things that bothers me is he's already raised $36,000 for a local election.
Well, hold on. We don't know what he's running for in 26.
Well, he's advertising. He's Monroe Strong, and it's to elect Robert Burns mayor. Okay, $36,000. We're a year out from the election. When I ran for council, I spent $1,000.
Yeah, I spent $5 on a county-wide race.
And that was mostly for signs.
yeah,
If you go back and look at the history of everybody that has ran for office in this city, I don't think you're going to find anybody that spent over $3,000, or maybe the highest is $5,000, and they did billboards out on 74.
right.
I mean,
Well,
$36,000. That's just
Daddy needs
unreal.
tight T-shirts and PEDs. So I mean,
I just think
Pre-workout is very expensive, Dottie.
Yeah, but just a local election, and if you go start looking at some of the items in there, it's like he's paying gas money for when he goes on these speaking trips. Or
again, that keeps going back to we have to hold this guy in a different context. Again, like this is what I keep going back to is like he is like his legacy. If not the legacy that he leaves in Monroe, but his legacy is going to be the fact that he changed Monroe politics and so I don't believe that we can continue looking at former office holders or former candidates and trying to hold this guy to some sort of standard that like this is the way it used to be. And hopefully this is not going to be, just the way politics are done. Now as far as like national politics, or I guess I should say nationally, not national politics, but like on a local level. I mean, it hasn't, the Republicans have spent a let's just, call it what it is, a metric fuck ton of money to win these local elections. And they saw that federal elections weren't really kind of going their way. So they just kind of reverted back to a lot of these local elections. This is a culmination of that.
And Change for Monroe is a response to that, to
of
fight
course.
that down so that
absolutely.
we can say, no, we're not going to do that here.
Yeah.
Next year will be better.
Okay, so you're going to raise all this money to make sure you win a seat.
Yeah.
But you sit there and say you're conservative, and yet you're spending all this money. How can you be both?
So,
I mean seriously.
In his defense, he did not spend any money telling the city about the E. coli breakout.
Yeah.
So he did save some money there, I guess. I did not get a text about that.
I did not.
I found it on Facebook and had to share it with a group.
But usually something like that
2 days
is
after
where,
they found
when they find the E. coli or something like that in the water system, it's where there's been a sewer thing that's overflowed, okay? With all this rain, it's highly probable.
Right, sure.
And usually it's just like when you get poop in a pool. You dump chemicals on it, it neutralizes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the response wasn't good. What I'm saying is that when they found it, 2 days later, the public school employees found out about it because the schools were going to be closed.
Yeah.
And Monroe residents didn't find out about it until about 7 or 8 hours after that. And it was via Facebook post. Why do I get texts about thunderstorms and not about boil your water?
I don't know.
I think that's really, I mean, he doesn't know how to govern. So that's
it's probably there needs to be a better system to notify people.
Yeah.
So speaking about the no confidence vote in general, like
it's pretty much just a statement. It's not like when he got censored.
Well, but
because when he got censored, they took away some of his duties.
So yes, right,
and so a no confidence vote is pretty much a statement: is that we have no confidence in you. We don't like the things you're doing. it's pretty much them stating. And when you have 5 council members, you can call them whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But when you have 5 council members that have come together to say, we have no confidence, there's a problem.
Yeah, I want to touch on that again because you brought that up. It was something that I talked to Stoney Rushing about during the county commissioner's race. And he told me, he's like, most votes are 5-0. 99% of the time, it's 5-0. We all agree. And I'm wondering, are you seeing the 5-2 split on shit that should be 7-0? Are we seeing that now where the mayor and Dotson are like, oh, this is good for the city, but fuck you, you were mean to me?
I don't think we've gotten that far into it yet.
Okay.
Now,
Well, they did.
Or did I just give them an idea?
Well, those two did do a no vote on the budget that came out, and I think some of that was probably
they
ideological.
Neutral,
yeah,
which it still was an increase, but it's revenue neutral went down. It wasn't what the normal rate, what the rate was. Say the rate was 55 cents, and they went down to 49. Well, revenue neutral was 49, but with the tax increase, it did bring in more taxes.
Kevin, you want to explain what revenue neutral is to the listeners real quick?
Yeah, so revenue neutral basically is where the amount of money that's coming in from the taxpayer stays the same. So quick math, because I suck at math, if your property is worth $100,000 and the tax rate is 5%, you will pay $5,000 in taxes. Well, the next year, if your house and property is worth $200,000 and you pay 5%, now you're paying 10%, $10,000. So you actually go up. So in order to make sure that you don't pay any more money, you still pay that $5,000, still decrease the rate to 2.5%.
Right.
And again, I'm using, basic math terms here. But yeah, so what was the mayor's issue with because I didn't think it was revenue neutral. I thought they brought it up a little bit.
No, I think it's revenue neutral.
Okay.
I mean, I'll have to go back and check, but still revenue.
Well, his
neutral.
complaint was that it raised taxes.
Yeah, but if it's revenue neutral, the way the taxes, if they had went below revenue neutral, it's because of the tax evaluation, the reevaluation, which brought the value of the houses back up. So therefore, it stayed the same. It stayed the same rate. Say it was 48 cents. It stayed 48 cents. But if your house was worth $100,000 more, you're going to pay more taxes.
Yeah.
But the rate of the taxes didn't change.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it wasn't revenue neutral then.
Well,
they didn't raise the rate.
They didn't raise the rate.
But they could have lowered it to make it revenue neutral.
They could have lowered, yes.
So I guess my question now becomes...
But with the reevaluation, your taxes were going up because your value of your house went up.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The revenue neutral rate cancels that out. That's the whole point of going revenue neutral. But I guess now the city of Monroe is going to have a huge influx of cash now. What do you think we're going to spend it on? Tight shirts?
The airport.
The airport.
Yeah,
well, everybody, the airport, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but when I was on council, it was being subsidized every year. The city took over the airport in 2006. Over that period of time, there was probably at least $25 million that was put in that airport. There was money that was borrowed, and that rate was, we were paying almost $1 million a year for that long. Plus, they were subsidizing that airport usually $500,000 to $1 million a year out of the general fund, which is where your tax is going. And everybody's going, oh, it's this great thing, it's going to bring so much here. Well, last year the airport made $30,000. It operated. 30,000 in the red. Well,
in like fees, like hangar fees, and like I guess
that's
stuff
what they
like
made.
that.
30,000.
Yeah.
And now I know they're expanding it, and
next year will be 60,000.
But
right.
There's the customs was supposed to bring in all this stuff, and we had to pay $150,000 every year just to have that custom designation. And what happens is they come in and they paint you this pretty. I call it a dog and pony show.
Of course.
They paint you this pretty picture, and you think it's great. But then in reality, when you start getting it, it's not as good as you thought.
Just so you know, I'm going to insert the clip from The Simpsons here where they buy a monorail.
It's the monorail, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Well, so, I know that it's, we've got an airport. And I think it may be a little bit better since we have the bypass close now. But I think it was last year that they said we made $30,000.
Yeah.
And it's like 30,000 in the black.
And just so we're clear, like who are they trying to draw in? Is this like, they call it the executive airport. So are they really just trying to bring or give, I guess, these top tier people who are traveling to Charlotte, are they trying to just give them an alternative to like Charlotte Douglas and be able to land here in Monroe and then travel into Charlotte?
If a plane lands here and sit in parks, we collect taxes off
of course,
so you don't have to provide all that.
But whose plane are they trying to get to land
here?
They're
trying to get corporate. Pretty much. I think we're always going to be just a municipal airport. I mean, all this money that's been spent, I guess maybe I'm more pragmatic. It's like I don't see it. Whereas some people think, oh, this is the best thing in the world for this city.
Yeah.
See, I don't necessarily think that.
Well,
I think
it's kind of hard to see something like an executive airport when we're arresting homeless people and they're hungry people.
And Concord Airport's got all these flights going out of it now, but see, they're right there on the interstate.
Yeah.
We always knew there would be a harder battle here, but I think
they also have not that Monroe doesn't have a whole lot of things going for it, but Concord has like the Speedway and like a lot of, let's just be honest, rich people flying in and out of there for a specific purpose. Like, so like I about guarantee that like once a year when the race happens, that more or less pays for like the airport to function for the rest of the year without bringing in a lot of these important people. Monroe does not have a speedway. Monroe does not have
we have Monroe Prayer.
But honestly, if you sit there and look and say, okay, how much money has been spent in that airport since you took it over in 2006? How many millions of dollars?
Right.
And then actually how much you have made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that would, to me, that's the way I would look at it. How much have we actually made?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting all these planes coming in. Got customs people checking. How much have you actually made?
Well, and it costs money for us to have a customs.
It costs money, and plus you have to have an officer there.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And you have to pay. It used to be $150,000 designation just to have the designation.
Right.
That's not counting the building and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've always had a lot of reservations.
I'm sure there are.
I thought we needed.
I guess
more
this
sidewalks.
is why we're expanding the sewer so we can flush more money down there.
Right. I'm sure there are some advocates that could probably spin this and make the.
Oh,
airport,
I'm sure that it can be spun. I've heard it spun more than once.
Absolutely. But it just seems like some of our priorities
and Mayor Burns is a proponent, but then he has a friend that has a place out there.
Yeah. Well, so just to as much as I really enjoy the talk about the airport, because these are like really major issues that Monroe really has to kind of grapple with and decide. I mean, at some point with the airport, we're going to kind of start running into like what's like the sunk cost fallacy. It's like, hey, we've put so much money into this airport. When is it, okay for us to kind of say this might be a boondoggle?
Well, they pay a consultant.
Yeah, so
the consultant's
exactly,
paid every year. He's on retainer out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much money going into this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would love to, keep talking about it, but obviously that's not the entire reason we brought you here. But going back to the no confidence vote with the mayor.
I know we tend to trickle down somewhere else.
No, it's totally fine. I love these little little side
rants.
Yeah, little rants. Yeah, but I was going to say these side
Very
trails.
Cathartic.
But
Who
they came
needs therapy?
Yeah.
We have microphones.
But
let me turn down the volume a little bit so
yeah,
we can yell.
basically the no confidence is just saying we don't have faith.
Well, okay. So that being said, what's the okay? So obviously the council has the authority to vote on these like no confidence things like that. But and we've talked about these things like more or less like being like kind of symbolic and really just like procedural almost. But do you feel like the no confidence vote is leading us to a different outcome? Like, are they like setting the stage for something else, you think?
Well, he's elected, so they can't remove him.
Yeah.
The only thing they can do is take away his duties.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much he would be a figurehead.
What other duties does he have right now, just by the
Well, he signs paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
He signs proclamations.
He runs the council meeting.
He's a facilitator.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there's ways they could go in there and remove his other.
How does someone with no power have so much power?
Well, the mayor.
I feel like we go through this every few years with government.
Most of it is in his
head.
The mayor
has one vote, just like the rest of the council, and majority wins.
Yep.
How the fuck is he this much of a pain in our ass?
Because it's a waste of breath to talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, he does. I think he listens, but he doesn't hear. There is a difference, and he doesn't learn from any of it. He's going to be the way he is, but what's happening to Monroe because of that? Is he truly valuing Monroe? Is he doing what? I mean, he sits out there and says, "I've done this. I've done this." It's all about I. It's not I. It's we. We have done this. There's not one person that can get anything done without other members of the council.
And we being like we being the history of Monroe as well. I mean, like, you know, we could go all the way back to, you know, stepping stones that you laid in order to kind of get us to the point that we're at now too.
Oh, I could lay out stepping stones, but I could not have gotten one thing
of course,
done.
We're standing on the shoulders of everybody else.
I had enough consensus on council.
Right.
I made the motion for downtown master plan, the first one that was done.
Yeah.
And hiring of a downtown director. Mm-hmm. But I could not have gotten that passed through. It was not a Dottie Nash thing. It was a council, because every decision is a council decision. Mm-hmm. One person cannot control what happens.
Yeah. And yet
it's a consensus of council. Yeah. It's not I, it's we.
So what is there things that the voters should be like paying attention to now? Like, I mean, upcoming ordinances and things like that are kind of on your radar.
Well, I know that they're starting to update the master plan for downtown. I'm not sure if they're not doing a new one.
Right.
But used to be you'd visit the master plan and then you'd update it.
Uh-huh.
But I think they're doing a new one, so I'm not sure about that. I just remember reading it. I know that they're changing a lot of things at the golf course. Yeah. The golf course has never operated in the black.
Mm. Oh, really?
No. And they're redoing the ballroom. And the way I looked at it, they're putting golf simulators in there.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
golf course, airport, ballroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a municipal golf course that over the
years... We
have
fucking hungry people.
Yeah.
The golf course has operated in the red for years. Now, I'm not sure what it is now. I haven't checked it. But over the years, it operated in the red.
Well, when the revolution comes, that's where the homeless people can go live.
Right, they can go simulate their golf.
They're all fucking worthless up there.
It was always said it's a quality of life.
Yeah.
See, my quality of life is having a house to live in, food to eat, and being able to pay my power bill.
Yeah, right.
Seriously. So I guess that's
and if you can't, as a city or municipality or whatever, I mean, a state, a country, if you can't perform those specific and, you know, let's just be honest. I mean, those are relatively easy things to do if you want to, if you want to prioritize those things. If you can't do that for people, how do you expect them to want to maintain the structures of government? Like, at some point, the people are going to start looking at it and just thinking that you're
I'm really looking forward to the meeting when someone stands up and they're like, "Hey, my rent just doubled this month," and then Burns looks at them and is like, I have good news. We just added a 19th hole.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I guess my quality, I think people need to have a safe place to live.
Yeah.
And, so public safety is a big thing.
Of course.
I just think you should be safe in your house.
Yeah.
And it's great that we have a golf course for the folks who can use it and stuff, but to sit here and really not have that as, a high priority item like with the airport. And I mean, I'd appreciate if they bumped that down on the list, like leftover money went there instead of like, hey.
But see, Parks and Rec is considered part of your quality of life. That,
people, Parks and Rec does a great job with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do have questions about this golf course. Dottie, can I go play golf for free?
No.
Then fuck them. It's not my quality of life.
Yeah.
I can't play golf for free. Not that I would either. Yeah. I have a hard enough time playing putt-putt because I don't like to concentrate that hard on hitting the ball.
Oh, I would just go out there and golf to bring the value of the course down.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out with this no confidence.
Yeah.
I think you're probably going to see it look sort of smooth for a while until something makes him mad again.
Well, I mean, I think it's more... It's not necessarily something makes him mad. It's like, and though I do agree, like, he
maybe not mad, maybe just it's not something.
Whatever triggers him.
But the thing about it, there doesn't have to be a trigger so much as like this man is campaigning, and he's in constant campaign mode at this point. So it's like he is, he's not acting as if the mayor position is his, and we all know this, but I mean, he's not acting as if the mayor position is his ultimate goal. It's not. this man is performing for people that are above him in state politics and country politics.
But the thing is, how often do you? I mean, he talks about, oh, I love Monroe.
No, he doesn't.
He never came to a meeting until he decided to run. He never was involved in anything.
So anecdotally, one of the council members basically relayed this to me. It was like after he was elected, he basically said, "Hey, Monroe's really nice. I should probably spend more time here." Yeah, you probably should. I mean,
he never see when I ran for council, I sat in the council chamber for a year and a half just so they'd have to look at me because I was just which the vote went our way.
Yeah.
But it was just like I didn't like the fact that they didn't listen to the citizens, and I think Mayor Burns depends on the group because he's a Christian. Well, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I mean, not a real Christian though, right?
Who, me or him?
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask.
Right.
But some of this stuff is just pure meanness. And we all have meanness in us. But see, I've always said God doesn't do mean. You can think mean thoughts, but when you follow through with them, it's something else. And when you're standing up there blasting, when you're standing up there blasting people,
right.
I mean, we're not... if I've got a problem, I'm going to come to you and say, you're full of it, But to steadily get up there and call people out.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the council members I'm not crazy about, but
give me names.
Yeah, I can make a list. And I just saw a post on Saluda calling her a liberal and a racist.
Yeah.
Well, I've known Saluda a long time. Council member Anthony, Mayor Pro Tem Anthony now, and she's not a racist
or a liberal.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Because people interpret posts a different way. And she had put a post out there several years back, and it's like, come on. But you're right, the internet doesn't forget.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a bad post, but I think she said, all lives matter. It's like, okay. But everybody is so touchy now on everything.
Yeah, it seems that way. And but again, I think it's a lot of it is just posturing and it's performance politics.
Well,
which
what
is
I
what
will
he
say
is
if you watch somebody's actions,
not
their words, but watch their actions and how they do, that tells you the true caliber of a person.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that very specific thing because I was talking to someone the other day who politically is diametrically opposed to what I think on a lot of things. And I finally had to, they were kind of like, I've softened on this since talking to you. And I kind of, like, you have not changed your moral center. You have always been the person that you are. But you stopped listening to what people were saying and watching what they were doing. And you realized that the people that you were voting for because they said they were going to do this were not. And the people you were ignoring were the ones actually doing the stuff that you cared about.
You watch what they do.
Yeah, but also too, these people, these people, and I'm talking about Burns and his people.
Cult.
They don't mind throwing pejoratives and insults and they love to throw around the socialist and fascist too, which is weird. But because
they don't know what either of those words mean.
Well, they call them socialist fascists, which is like just a
they don't know what the words mean.
No, they don't. But the point is, like, so when the person you're speaking of, the one thing that they also have to do is realize that the people that these people are demonizing are also not as bad as what you say they are. I mean,
the ugliness. So much ugliness.
So I mean, as much as again, socialism is an economic ideology. It doesn't tell you what what is in a person's heart, so to speak. So I mean, if I call someone a socialist, I mean, even if I call someone a fascist, fascism can mean the corporate, or the joining of like corporate and government, structures. But that doesn't tell me anything about the person and their intentions when it comes to civilians and people and things like that. So. Just calling these people names does not necessarily like tell you what's in their heart. And so I hope that person you're talking about can at least like start to look past some of that stuff and understand that like these are just...
That was a lot of words to say. They don't know what these words mean.
Oh, no, yeah, of
they
course
just
they don't.
randomly call people, if I look at
Yeah.
Michelle Ball and say pig...
Very nice lady.
Does she actually...
Feed the homeless.
Who knows?
Well,
they don't know what the words
the
mean.
ugliness.
That's a metaphor, pig fuck.
And the people that are, I'm a Christian, yet they get up there and they're so ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
I'm not. I just called Michelle a pig.
Beautiful soul.
Fucker, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's so much ugliness out there. We should be able to agree
Yeah.
to disagree. In fact, there's a guy that I've known for years that is always on Mayor Burns' page and Bob Yanachek's page, and he's always making these ugly comments. And it's like, what has happened to you? This is not the person that I knew.
This
but I
is
guess
Burns' legacy. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
and it's always attack, and ugly.
Yeah.
And these people that don't even live in Monroe, they're coming on here attacking people because of him,
Yeah.
in favor of him. And it's like,
if I want to like think of Burns in anything, he is a giant wedge, and he is
I have never seen the ugliness that we have seen, and in the last 2-3 years, whatever.
yeah.
And a mayor that is all about himself instead of about the city he's supposed to be serving.
Well, so let's think about this for a sec. So in our
What changed in the last 10 years?
right, yeah, no kidding. In a perfect world where Burns decides that this no confidence vote is actually something that he needs to pay attention to and take to heart, what changes in a person like this would you expect to see if they were really trying to start be in the mayor for the entire city and actually like turn over
Stop
new
the
leaf?
attacks.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to blame them. He wants to blame the other council members. But if you go back and you look, there was the attack on Gary Anderson,
Yeah.
and that should have been something that was handled in private.
Right.
I mean, there was at least 2 pages that were read that night on Gary Anderson, all because of something he said the mayor said. It was almost petty and childish, just like take it outside and have that conversation. The thing about James Carr cussing out in the hallway, there was one other ones too. There was something else, but it was almost like, okay, these are things y'all should do behind, not in front of everybody. There should be a certain decorum there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I know that when I was on council, when I was sworn in, I made a point to say this, but it wasn't. I didn't go and attack afterwards. But I had some people that worked for the city that had my signs in their yard. These were people I had known for God knows how long. Well, I know that it was in documented form that a council member made the statement. It's okay. They can vote for who they want, but they need to take their signs out of the yard. Just let's keep it under the wraps. And I said,
because they were city employees, basically.
Yeah, because they were city employees.
Sure.
It didn't matter that we had known them, God knows how long.
Right.
And it's like, this is your freedom of speech. You've got the right to support who you want. And I addressed it that night. And then the mayor, Ms. Davis, said, we handled this in private. I said, the thing is, when there is something that's publicly said, that's publicly written,
Sure.
I'm going to address it in the public.
Yeah.
This stuff that happened that they brought up was not done in the public.
Right.
And the fact is, he didn't do anything when they attacked Julie Thompson that night.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
He sat there and let it happen.
Yeah.
He has allowed those meetings to get out of control and the attacks happen when he should have put a stop to it. I don't care whether they were his friends or not. You do not let people come into the city council chamber and get up there and attack, and be ugly.
And not only that, but when she left, when she was so upset and left, and then came back, Mayor Burns let her pick up where she left off.
Yeah, the speaker.
And didn't put an end to it.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely
but see,
insane.
That's where he's failing the city too.
Yep.
Is he's failing to stop these attacks. And the thing is, you were
He's
elected,
not failing to stop them. He's the
doesn't-
one behind
He's
them.
instigating.
He
them,
was.
yeah.
He helped her write that fucking speech.
Yeah,
well,
most likely.
I just know that this ugliness does not need to happen in a council chamber.
Well, speaking of that, as a matter of fact, so there's been a huge change, as a matter of fact, to the way that city council meetings are held now.
Well, that's because of all these attacks.
Right. Yeah. So now, the second Tuesday of every month is the regular council meeting that they used to have, but they've removed the public speaking section on that. You can still speak publicly about specific topics that are happening, from what I understand, but all like the general public.
If it's on the
speaking,
agenda?
right? If it's on the agenda, but the general public speaking section has now been moved to the last Tuesday of every month. Now, is that right?
Yeah, I think it's the last of the month.
I think fourth
So,
Tuesday.
which is supposed to now, like, I guess, try and reintroduce some of the civility, or I guess I don't know if it's that so much as they're just trying to like really just get.
They
work
just
done.
needed business. To
they
get
just need
through,
to be business to get done.
And Michelle was getting upset that she was limited to 3 minutes. If they move her to another meeting, then she'll get like 30 minutes or some bullshit.
The reason all this has occurred is because of all these attacks that have started with council, and they started under Mayor Burns's leadership. They have continuous every public comment, the continuous attacks. That is the reason you've had more police officers there, because we're living in a day and time when you don't know when somebody's not
metal detectors.
Right.
Well, let's just flesh that out real quick,
because that's what it boils
because
down to. You don't know when somebody gets up there and goes on and on. You don't know that they're not going to bring a gun in there. They're not going. There's something. With all the turmoil that we see, you don't know that something's not going to happen. But it's sad that we have to have so many more police officers now, and you have to go through a metal detector because of all the attacks that have occurred during public comment.
From one side.
Well, the mayor should have put a stop to that. But he let them go on and on to start with.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
continuously.
they're complaining now, as a matter of fact, too, about having to state their address before they speak at these things like that.
That's always been a thing.
Yeah, well, and I thought so too, but I wasn't really necessarily sure when it all happened. But like, so let's just like flesh out why we have these extra securities that are going on nowadays in these meetings.
It's because council members are afraid.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
the specific thing that happened though was Michelle Ball had 20 or so people like show up and then like stand in behind her at the lectern and face the audience, which is also not allowed.
Right.
And basically intimidate the rest of Monroe City into capitulating with their whims and all this other. More or less, he was like trying to scare anybody else who wanted to come up there and speak against them and say, we have all these citizens here. Creating this human wall between you and your city council, basically, or your city government.
That should have never been allowed to happen. Never should remove them automatically.
Yeah, exactly. So because of Michelle Ball, we now have metal detectors, we have stanchions, and all of these new implementations of like the public comment. We used to have 3 minutes, no problem, no questions. They reduced that down to 2 minutes. You can also, speak for other people and get more time. But what that does is limit the amount of people that can come up and actually speak. And now they have removed public comment from the regular meeting completely.
Because it's you're tying up so much time.
Yeah.
And in
with
fact,
these pet projects that have nothing to do with
nothing.
The night we were there for the council meeting and we were speaking again, that is the night they brought up the Gary Anderson thing.
Yeah, of course.
And we were paying an attorney. And we sat there and listened to that. And it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was, it went on and on and on between David Dodson and Robert Burns.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not the time and the place. We have citizens here that are speaking out on issues that pertain to the city, not personal conflicts.
Yeah.
And that's what it boiled down to. And it was bad. But we were paying an attorney $300 an hour to sit there and listen to that.
You personally about the housing issue.
About the development over here in our neighborhood.
So, so you had actual business in front of the council.
There, and we were paying an attorney. Our neighborhood was paying an attorney to stand up and speak for us.
And yet we're being like the rest of the city is being held up from this petty bullshit.
Well, I tell you what, now that the mayor's got so much money in his campaign funds, maybe you should send him an invoice.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's like I said.
He won't even notice that it's missing.
He called me and told me he didn't have, he had ran out of time and he couldn't come look at what was going on in our neighborhood. He said, well, I can come tomorrow. I said, well, the conversation is occurring tonight at council.
Right.
He had not even been over there and looked at it.
Yeah.
David Dodson came and talked to our neighborhood, and he kept saying, I've done this and I've done that. And he still didn't have the courage. He almost did, but then he backed down to stand up for the neighborhood when he knew it was wrong. And he said, I've done this for this planning, the planning. Yeah. We've reduced this now. But if you know something's wrong, why don't you stand up? You should have the courage to stand up and say, this is wrong. So what if you get sued? The city gets sued on a regular basis.
I mean, they've had a couple big lawsuits still pending right now, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
so
it's just been it's bad that the council has had to do all this. Whether you like the council, whether you like Mayor Burns, it doesn't matter. It should not be the way it is with people standing up monopolizing public comment when it really is nothing to do with the city. It's their religious beliefs. This thing that's going on about the drag shows. The drag shows have been changed. And then, yet when you say that, it's like, you agree with pedophiles. You're agreeing with groomers. It's not that. You're taking away people's right to decide what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and the bottom line is this. You're not going to answer to God for what I've done. I'm going to answer to God.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like somebody trying to tell you what to do with their children.
Well, frankly, I'm not going to lie. I kind of miss the communion wafers. So when the mayor institutes mandatory church service, I will get on board with that part of it.
Well, the thing is, he's allowed all this stuff to get out of hand.
Yeah.
Because he is supposed to be running that councilman.
He has allowed, but the council has allowed him.
No. That's a bad framing, though.
It is, but here's the thing.
He has instigated it to get out of hand.
His first article.
Yeah.
That was like, hey, congratulations on being elected mayor. He called half the city beta cucks or whatever he said.
Beta snowflakes.
You know, and it's like, here's the thing.
Beta male snowflakes.
Right there, 6 members of the council said, well, let's see what he can do.
But they did censor him eventually.
They censored him eventually.
I think what happened, though, is they tried to talk to him one-on-one.
Right.
And he would say, oh, okay, you know, and be very cordial.
Yeah.
And then the next thing he would go back and do
In the
something
immortal
else.
words
So he's
of,
lying, is what he was
But
doing.
it's really
George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Fool me once, shame. Fool me twice. I can't get fooled again.
Can't get fooled again.
Well, but see, I think that you try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and they were trying to work with a new mayor, and some of them had been there, some of them hadn't been, and they were trying to find their cohesiveness.
Right. See, Dottie, that's my biggest mistake is I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Well, and lots of times
We've had this discussion.
And after
it ends up and bite you.
after 30 or 40 times, you become complicit
Right.
Well, yes.
in the behavior.
Yes.
And so I'm glad that they're trying to stand up to him, but obviously a no confidence vote is purely, ceremonial.
Well, it may be ceremonial, but it's making a statement to everybody.
So
it is a statement, whether it
now he's claiming that he's oppressed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to claim that
his
anyway.
freedom of speech, right? He's got like 4 Facebook pages and a Twitter page, and
Those
all
are
this
the
other
only
stuff.
ones that we know about.
I
his
will
freedom
tell
of speech
you,
is being
the stuff that
yeah.
he puts out on Threads. I think it is. Is it Threads or
It's
is it
Twitter.
Instagram?
It's
Twitter's
X,
the really nasty
Twitter,
one.
X,
That's
whatever.
where he really
whichever
goes.
one he puts out comments on are really ugly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he lets his freak
And
flag fly there.
It's like, this is not good. This
Yeah.
is not representative of Monroe.
It's
Well-
not representative, but it's also not representative of someone who is in a healthy mental state either.
Yeah, right.
Well, I
Well,
just think that some of this ugliness needs to stop.
Yeah. Okay. So so speaking of like this ugliness stopping, I mean, I'm not sure that that's going to happen
gonna happen,
over the
I don't
next
think.
year. I mean, let's just say that. I mean, because even if he does run for mayor again and lose, we've still got to put up with all of the time in between there. So obviously that's not going to happen. But I feel like Monroe is a resilient place, and I feel like America, for that matter, is a resilient place. And other than this, let's just call it speed bump that we're all witnessing right now, I really feel like multiculturalism and all this other stuff will, and the overall, and I don't want to like trigger anybody for listening to this, but the liberal consensus, small L liberal consensus will eventually prevail again, and we'll all be able to kind of move past all this. But that's going to take people paying attention and getting out and voting again. So I wanted to you to touch on, there was some stats that you had for your election back in the day as far as the amount of people that voted. But then I also want you to touch on what it would take for us to really kind of like elevate our current numbers showing up to the polls.
Well, I know that this thing with the partisan, and it's not that I cared that the election was partisan. I did not like the way it was done. I think it was snuck in. I think there's probably at least 2 council members that were very aware of it. And I think they may have lobbied for it, maybe not directly, but they had it lobbied. It was slid in by our 2 representatives at the General Assembly.
Todd Johnson and
Dean Arp.
Dean Arp. There you go.
And I think it was dirty.
Yep.
I think that it should have been put on a referendum for the citizens to vote for.
Yeah.
And if they voted for partisan, then that's fine. But in local politics, it does not matter whether you've got a D or an R or a C or whatever you want to call it beside your name. You serve all your citizens. It's not a party. It's like I said, it is dealing with the garbage, dealing with the power bill, the things that are everyday things that occur to people. it's not it's not the state level, it's not the national level of type of politics. This is your general well-being of your citizens. These are your ordinances. This is your land policies. It's not anything to do with this national level. And if citizens want to vote for a party, that's up to them. But it should not have been slid in the way it should have been.
Right.
It should have been put out for the citizens to vote on it, because I believe that citizens have the right to vote on what affects them.
Of course.
And so if they had voted for partisan, that was fine. I still don't think it matters what you have beside your name. There's some people that straight parties, but I don't think it matters. I think it was dirty. And when I ran, there's never been a huge turnout in Monroe, because when you go into some of your older neighborhoods, your poorer neighborhoods, you look at the trends. Most of the time they say it doesn't affect me. So, and it's like, it does affect you. It affects your power bill. It affects your garbage bill. It affects your streets. Your living conditions because of code enforcement. If your house is falling down, code enforcement's going to come out.
Or if your neighbor, is not, tending to their property well enough.
Yes, or if you've got somebody that's playing music every day, because Monroe has a 24-hour noise ordinance. There you go. Excuse me. And we actually have a decimeter that registers it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, where's that hidden?
It's at the police department if they can find it. Because you shouldn't have to stay in your house and listen to music over your TV. That's not your choice of music.
Yeah.
But those are things that are on the books that need to be enforced. But your everyday citizens, a lot of them don't take the time to vote because they don't think it affects them. They're over the years, Monroe has never seen a huge turnout. Usually 1,000 votes, 1,200.
So I think 970 was what Burns and Janacek.
You look
got.
at the total.
So when you were coming through,
it was around 1,000 votes.
So again, we're talking 15 years ago. It was around the same amount of votes, and Monroe's population has probably at least gone up by 10,000 people.
Yep. It's been, go and look at it, and I don't think you will ever see over 2,000 votes.
Yeah.
Not give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
The percentage is always low. And I don't know that you're going to see a lot more unless it's a presidential election.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're moving it to an even year, so there are going to be higher profile races on there. They're making it partisan, so therefore when people come out, they don't actually have to, concentrate on who the candidates are. They're just going to look at the party on a lot of cases. But I will say this, Mayor Burns, in his campaign of stupidity, has brought together a large part of the community against him that did not exist, that did not vote, that are reading news articles. And I'll tell you that, for example, I happen to know at a food pantry, when news articles about how funding was getting cut, a lot of people started showing up with food. And I think we're going to see that same kind of effect where it's like, oh my God, Mayor Burns is in the news again for being an idiot. I got to go vote next time.
Well, I think you may see some people come out. And it's really, I was surprised at the amount of people in my neighborhood that doesn't like Mayor Burns. And even around.
And are these would you consider these people Republicans or Democrats or what? I mean, do you even know?
I don't even know, but I just know
conservative. I should say, and Democrat and Republican to me are they're misleading and the way I would the way that it should be, honestly, is you should have a more liberal and conservative wing within a Democratic Party and a Republican Party.
Both parties have their problems, and I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah. Well, but that being said, it shouldn't really tell you as much about it as as the just putting a D or an R by your name shouldn't really tell you as much as what they think it does.
About the people. They think it's because Republicans are conservative values, Democrats are liberals. Well, I don't necessarily agree with any of that.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, we're both unaffiliated, and it was just basically because honestly, I want to make the parties earn my vote. And two, for that matter, there's things that Republicans do that I like, and there are things that Democrats do that I don't like, and vice versa. So I mean, I vote on issues.
But these are my everyday people. These are hardworking people that go. They have jobs that go to work every day.
Yeah.
But it was really surprising to me to realize how many of them do not like what Mayor Burns has done to our city.
Tell those people to grab somebody and go vote next time.
Well, if you look at the people that vote
Yeah.
and you break it down by precincts,
Yeah.
you can tell the ones that vote every election. And I've done
Yeah,
it. I've looked
absolutely.
at the precincts. I've looked at the people that vote. Precinct 30, which is where he will pull his votes,
Yep.
because it's the largest precinct. Okay, Precinct 30 is the largest precinct in Monroe. It pulls in Rocky River, Myers Meadows, Hamilton Place, all of that. I'm
Kind
trying
of
to
it's
think.
the north side of the
Yes.
of the city, basically,
And it pulls
where
in.
most of the development is happening.
That's
probably.
where most of the
Yeah.
development.
Yeah.
So you will see the vote there. It's a harder precinct to win. Okay. When I won in the precincts around the town.
Right.
Because I was a lot more familiar with the people. My children went to Monroe. My husband worked at Monroe as a school resource officer for years. He's a Mill Hill boy. He grew up in Monroe.
Right.
I've been here 50 years, so I guess I'm a Monroean now.
We'll accept you.
Yeah, okay,
Finally.
But he's a hometown boy. But these are the people that pretty much voted for me. Precinct 30 was a harder pull for me, and I don't know, it just is.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's a lot of newer people in that area because of the developments and stuff. But if you go back and you look, there's never been a huge turnout, and they're saying, "Oh, this is going to make the difference." Well, if you go and look at it, it may not make as much difference as you think,
Yeah.
even on the even number of years.
Well, let's hope we can change that trajectory, because that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here is really, ultimately we are trying to get a certain message out to people, but we really just want to up those numbers, and
We're optimistic dreamers.
we are.
Well, you have to be
Yeah,
optimistic.
right.
You have to hope.
Well, hope is that's what drives
all-
everybody. Yeah.
People there,
So-
everything's always gloom and doom. It's like you've got to have hope.
Yeah, well,
you've
it's
got
going to be
have
gloom and
hope.
doom if you continue to look for the gloom and doom.
Right,
that's
you've got to look and hope
yeah.
that things are going to change.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess and I'm one of these, I steadily pound, hopefully that it'll change.
Yeah, right,
And I
yeah.
steadily
There's-
do my little digs in.
There's gloom and doom, and then once in a while there's a Subway sandwich to bring out of it.
Right. So this can be this was potentially my last question, unless Kevin has something else. But you mentioned when you started running for council, right? And you said you started showing up to meetings and just being more visible within the community and things like that. Obviously, if somebody's looking to run for office, that's probably what they need to do. They probably just need to start showing up, just paying attention to meetings, and really just showing an interest more or less in the things that are happening in the city and putting in their 2 cents and things, right? So, but if somebody just wants to, become more involved in their city, showing up to meetings is one thing. Running for local office obviously is another thing. But what are some other things that people can do just to really kind of educate themselves more?
Well, to educate yourself, you need to look at the agendas. You need to read what's in there. And when I wrote and looked at the things that came up on the agenda, like when there was a public hearing, I'd go out and check stuff out. I think you have to attend council to hear some of the stuff. And they do have committee meetings that you can come and hear. Lots of times when things get to the council on the agenda, they've already been through a committee, the planning board, and then council.
So maybe join a committee.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
have to join. You just go and listen.
Oh, yeah,
because
sure.
there's things that are discussed at committee level and at the planning board that you don't always hear at council. They've already been passed through.
And by the time they get to council, they've pretty much already been decided
Right,
by the
they've
council
already-
folks. So
pretty
you're
much.
getting up there and talking to brick wall.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. I find that some council members don't read their stuff. Seriously. And sometimes, it's like, okay, it's just a public hearing. Well, it's all in the details. You start reading the details.
Yeah.
And, when I chaired the land development committee, people would come in, the developers would come in, they'd promise you this great thing. It's a
course.
dog and pony show. But in reality, what happens is they get it approved and they turn around and sell it to somebody else. So you're not holding that person liable for what they've said.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because they've turned around and sold it, and somebody
Yeah.
else's vision is a little bit different than theirs. And unless
But at that
it's-
point, you've got buy right things happening and
yeah,
things
you
like
got
that.
the buy right.
Yeah,
Buy
yeah,
right. You can do pretty much what you want.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's buy right. That's what
Yeah.
we heard.
Right. Yeah.
But it loses some of it in the details, the facts. And I found this out, that if it's not documented, it cannot be enforced.
Right.
In other words, if you're there and they say, oh, we're going to put in a trash compactor. This happened up at Charlestown.
Okay.
They were going to put in a trash compactor. Well, it didn't get written in, the details. Planning staff, it was told at the meeting, it did not get written in. And then it's like, we can't enforce it because it wasn't written in. It was told, but it wasn't written in. So you have to make sure all those facts are recorded or you can't enforce anything.
Right.
And it's really hard to enforce things.
So there was, I'm going to answer my own question just a little bit, but there's these citizen, I forget the name of it now, but it's a
Citizens Academy.
There you go, Citizens Academy. And have you taken that course by the way? That's something that I wanted to do. So just so everybody kind of knows, Citizens Academy is and I need to like kind of read about this more before I tell everybody about it because.
But you're telling us about it now.
I'm just going to do it anyway.
Departments in the city.
Go ahead.
It teaches you that it shows you what the different departments in the city.
And they do tours and things like that. And each department head like gives you a primer of like what all the yeah.
But one thing everybody needs to do, they need to pay attention to the budget. You know, they present this budget. Well, what a lot of people don't understand is that all staff submit their choices to the city manager. Mm-hmm. He's the one that makes the cuts. So the city council sees the final thing. Yeah. Because back years ago, one thing I'm responsible for, okay? I'm teasing, but it was a council decision because I pushed for it. There's a thing with the fire department, 4 men in, 4 men out, to get their ISA rating. Well, they didn't want to do the 4 men in, 4 men out. The city manager at the time had cut it out of the budget. So I argued for it. And the other council members agreed. People don't realize a lot of that stuff is cut before it ever gets to council.
Yeah,
sure.
So you have to sit and go through that and see what they're doing. And I mean, there's just little things that you need to be aware. You need to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously, there's a lot of things that go on in the city. And one of the things you hear is the city's so corrupt. Well, people don't understand, okay? They don't understand all the issues. I know there's this big thing about the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's been Save the Cemetery. Well, that piece of property, I can remember years ago, was a code enforcement issue because there was a house that sat way off the road. There was a metal gate that you had to go through to get there. But it was a code enforcement issue because it was falling down around the people that lived there. All right? And then I think the old man finally died, and the homeless people were living in it, and they caught the house on fire. Well, this cemetery had been sitting there all that time. Nobody realized it was there. And that's when the heirs sold that property. And then next thing you know is they're moving a cemetery. Well, the cemetery had not been kept, had not been visited. Yeah. You couldn't get back to it.
I saw the property. Like there were pictures, before and after pictures, and it was just like they're really.
Oh yeah, this is someone going after 15 minutes of fame to complain about this.
Somebody was like, they're putting people in 2 caskets. Well, years ago, if they didn't bury them in a casket or it was a wood casket, they all disintegrate. Yeah. So they actually dug up the dirt around it so they didn't miss any of the human particles or whatever. Yeah. And so they put them in small wooden boxes. Yeah. You know, and so there would be 2 in a grave. Yeah. But they were acting like they were just putting them in these little 2x2 boxes.
Oh yeah, I mean, they want to play up this like desecration that's supposed to be happening.
And nobody wants their family members moved, but nobody had taken care of this cemetery for years. Yeah, yeah. In fact, one thing too, we have a cemetery over there on that property. The developers didn't even know it was there.
Oh, in the property near your house.
And it's in the heritage room downtown.
Oh, really?
That's how old. It's a Jewish cemetery, and I don't mean that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually somebody that came by and tried to. They couldn't access it, and so they put a note that says, you know, I came by and I'd like to go out there to it. Supposedly they're protecting it, but you can't tell.
Oh yeah, that's something to look into. So, like just throwing this out there to you, any you know, potpourri issue that you'd like to touch on before we call this interview a day?
No, I just think people need to wake up and pay attention, and I think people need to start looking and not listening to what they say, but listening to what they see. There is a different thing. And one thing everybody needs to remember, there's not one person on that council that can do anything by themselves. Right. It is a majority.
Well, and that goes for citizens too, for that matter. I mean, we're all in this
It's
together.
all a majority. The majority rules.
Yeah.
And whether you like the decision or not, majority rules, and you have to respect it. Yeah. And I think it all comes down to a matter of respect too.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great way to end it. So, Dottie, I really, and I speak for Kevin here, we really appreciate your time here. Obviously, we wish that other interview had been usable too. But,
all right.
Yeah.
I'm only going to apologize one more time.
No, I'm not asking for an apology here. I was just saying, like, it was a
Hey,
really
things
good
happen.
interview, and like, we were looking forward to kind of like putting that out to people because, I mean, let me just say this: you're welcome here anytime. We'd love to have you just come on and just tell us your thoughts and things like that, and that goes for pretty much anybody else who's got any thoughts in the city. So hit us up on Facebook, our websites or anything like that. I mean, that would be great. But again, Dottie, thank you so much for coming and spending this time with us and giving us your insights into the city and how
One thing I would like to add.
Oh yeah, sure.
Is because y'all have the name changed from Monroe.
Yep.
Y'all not these radical idiots, okay? But y'all have.
No, I'm insulted.
Well,
I know,
all
right? Maybe we want to
I'll
be radical
rephrase that.
idiots,
But
Dottie, huh?
This is the thing: is no matter how you go about it, y'all love the city.
Of course.
And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is the thing that people need to remember. We can all have different opinions, but we all want what is best for the city of Monroe.
Yep.
I happen to love Monroe. And
Yep.
I get real disgusted sometimes, but this city is a good city. We just need to find the good again.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take that to heart. So,
All right. Thank you so much for being here, Dottie. Appreciate it.
You're
Yep.
welcome.
and we're back. That's some movie magic there for you folks. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Dottie as much as we loved talking to Dottie. Unfortunately, we're still, like I say, with the tech issues that we're currently doing, we're still trying to work out how to have like 3 people in the room and have cameras on everybody and things like that. So that's why it wasn't videoed. So anyway. Maybe next time. Let's put it that way. When we have more guests in the future, we'll have a much more technical setup to where everybody can be on camera. I can be in the nude, which I like a lot.
No, I'm out.
Pasty. Oh no.
No, we're
Okay,
advertising for a new co-host.
sorry. Okay. God. I keep going through co-hosts.
Actually, now that I've not been able to fix the tech issues, I'm guessing you're now the producer.
Oh, damn it. So many hats, folks.
Who am I? I am Robin Quivers. No, she
Yeah.
was the producer.
Was she?
I thought she was.
All right. Well, I just thought she was the token.
No.
It gave Howard a lot of leeway to be able to make some of those jokes because there was someone in the room.
Yeah, she was the producer.
Okay.
I mean, that's what the producer does.
Oh yeah. I learn something new every day.
Ta-da.
I just thought it was like tit jokes and stuff like that, but
Mostly.
yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, any takeaways from Dottie's interview that we'd like to touch on?
No. Thank you so much, Dottie, for explaining a lot of this stuff. It's very frustrating to go day to day and be pummeled by news that's happening around the country, and how does it affect us? And some of this news affects us, some of it doesn't. But our city council affects us every day.
Yeah.
And she really hammered that point home that, like the people who stop you in the street when you're on the town council aren't complaining about trans athletes or Mars space stations or anything like that. They're complaining about their power bill, their rent,
Yeah.
potholes, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you, Dottie, for reminding us that local politics is exactly that, something that we should all agree on.
Right. And so just a tad bit of housekeeping before we actually sign off. I made a huge error last week. And I have to set the record straight. Well, so Kevin and I, we shared with you folks that we both failed our driving test the first time go around. And I threw in a little, side comment that my wife had also failed her test on the first go round. Obviously, I don't know my wife as well as I think I do because she did not fail her driving test in the first go round. And she was very adamant about me setting the record straight on that. So sorry, honey.
I would also like to mention that if you don't force your wife to listen to the podcast, she doesn't know about the lies you
Well,
tell.
if she doesn't listen, no one will. Yes. I mean, she's literally the only consistent listener. Maybe. I don't know. There might be 2 other ones out there that we know of.
So the last podcast was our record. We hit, I think, 63 views as
Holy crap.
of today.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 60 of them were Michelle and the mayor
Yeah.
just getting angrier and angrier.
Let's, you know what?
Furiously.
Let's hope so. Yeah, right. just like hate masturbating.
Yeah, you know,
right.
who knows what the fuck they're thinking.
Right.
Yeah, speaking of Michelle, she put out a video and she was talking about like, how do you deal with the crazies? And I'm like, bitch, that's our word.
Yeah,
You're
right.
not even allowed to use it, much less
Yeah.
with a hard Z.
Yeah. And you know, there needs to be some introspection in there if you want to deal with the crazies, because bitch, you are the crazy. I mean, I'm telling you right now. I mean,
It's like, hey, here's us.
yeah.
Hey, please leave us alone.
Yeah.
That's not crazy.
Right.
That's not crazy.
No. So anyway, hey, until next time, Kevin, we have a website.
We have a website.
Yep.
Changeformonroe.com.
Yep.
We are going to really start working in the community and start to raise some funds because we got an election coming up next year, and we want to be prepared. Something that we found out during our interview with Dottie, looking at the mayor's financials, he's got a lot of out of Monroe contributions coming in to the tune of $36,000 a year before the election.
Right.
Which obviously is a good indicator that he's not fucking running for mayor, that he's running for something else. But whoever he picks as his successor, we want to make sure that they don't win either. So we need to start raising money. We're going to come up with some good plans so you get something out of sending us something. We got T-shirts right now. Maybe next is going to be cock rings. Who knows? We got something. We'll figure out something to make it worth your while to donate.
It's
to
in the
us.
works. Yeah.
Yep. But other than that, just, follow along, follow our Facebook page, and let us know what you want to do in the community to help out.
Right.
It can be simple.
All righty. Well, thank you to Dottie again. We look forward to having her back at some point when she's ready.
I don't know. I just said cock ring. I don't know if she'll come back.
She might, yeah. Well, I mean, so also, again, we really appreciate the patience you guys have with us, and while we, try and come up with a good product for you guys, but little by little, we're just adding new features and things like that. So we'll get there, but we're still fairly new to this. But we appreciate you guys tuning in every week and just seeing the the dumb shit we talk about every week. So. Anyway, Kevin, thanks.
You're welcome, Stephen.
See you later, bud. Somebody out there's applauding for us.
I was saying balloons.